Yo guys, it's JJ here, and today I'm be walking you through the secrets that I use to make some dark emotional trap beats just for the like of Noodah and also Hxncho. Before we get into the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're on the way to 2k subs. Support's been mad recently and I really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into the video. The first thing to know about this beat is I'm doing this at 174 BPM because these guys like to work in higher BPM ranges. And the first sound is the Noodah05 from Contact 7. But you could just use any piano of your own. So looking at the pattern, it's pretty straightforward. We're working in the scale of G minor, and as you can see, I just copy and paste this root note literally 3 times, so I cover a large range of frequencies. But then breaking down the chord progression, if we look at the first one over here, it's just a nice little triad, but then I have this G on top again. It's a nice little triad, but then I got this G on top again, and then all I do is just strum the notes later on to give it a bit more movement and emotion, and add this A on top. And looking at the next chord progression, as you can see, I've strummed it nicely in reverse order. This gives it a bit of variation, and then all I do is get myself another minor chord, but I take this A into an A sharp just because I want to keep that nice little consistent note in there. I play a C and a D to go with it, and then just strum them again, adding these nice little transitional notes. And then for the final chord, all I do is get myself a nice little major chord going, place this D on top, because if I take it an octave down, as you can see, notes are semitone apart, create that dark kind of tension, and then I have these 4 notes playing again to add a bit of movement and emotion. And the last things I actually did was click Alt S to strum my notes as I just stated, and then I click Alt R to randomize my velocity, giving it a bit of variation. And now this is what the main melody sounds like. But next up guys, I'm going to walk you through the second half of this chord progression, and that's when I add that nice little top line, because for these kind of emotional beats, especially these dark ones that you have for Noodah and Hxncho, you want to vary it up a bit. So got myself a nice little top line that I've made over here, and to be honest, this is just something I made in the moment and how I felt. Got myself a nice little roll going on over here, then this really cool cascading pattern, but as you can see, I have the same note playing back to back to add a bit more emotion. And then I am making use of these notes that are semitone apart, as you can see here, those highlighted notes, and same over here, just again creating that dark emotional vibe. And then coming into the second half of this chord progression, I just continue the same kind of pattern again, and then over here I literally just play this note and this pattern but take it up an octave again, just because I think it sounds really nice, giving it a bit of variation. Stacking the chords on top of each other sounds really nice. But now with all that being said, this is what the second pattern for the chord progression sounds like. And there we have it, that super dark and emotional vibe just for Hxncho and Noodah. And to break down these effects, first thing I did was get myself an EQ, cutting off a lot of my lows, and an instance of Soothe 2 to duck some mids and a few of the harsher highs, an instance of RC20, and I did use the Vinyl 1 preset, but I don't know why it's bugging out right now. And last but not least, some Vahal Vintage Verb, just to add a bit of ambience to the sound. And of course, I stereo separated at 20%, just to widen it a bit within the headphones. But next up, I got myself an instance of Analog Lab 5, using this bass preset called the Source Bass. It's a very nice dark, I think it's a Moog bass even. But looking at the pattern, simple and straightforward, just following my root notes of G, D and D sharp, and that's literally it. So with all that being said, this is what the bass sounds like. And guys, the next thing I actually did was get myself an instance of Purity, and I used this preset called the Delay Time, which is from the piano bank. But looking at the pattern, all I do is copy and paste the main chord progression in the first melody, and as you can see, I just play it simply, having very few transitional notes throughout it, as you can see over here. But using this piano, it kind of comes off more like a pad in my opinion, and I think it really complements that kind of melody. And then I just clicked Alt R again to randomize my velocities, and then Alt S yet again, just to add a bit of strum to make it sound more human. And that's literally it, just another layer to the piano, and this is what it sounds like. And there you'll have it, sounding super nice, emotional again, really conveying what we want. Looking into the effects again, super straightforward. Got another EQ cutting off all my lows, some Soothe 2 again to compress harsher frequencies, some RC20 again, but it's not working. and then a heavy amount of Valhalla vintage verb, just because I really want to drown this sound out, add a nice little kind of like paddish layer, even though it's a key. And looking at the stereo separation, this was done around 70%, just because I really wanted to widen the sound out, added a nice little texture to the background. And then to really wrap this thing up to make it sound super dope, all I did was grab these two little accents from this one shot kit by a guy called Hxncho. Don't know how to pronounce it, but super fire one shot. Produced nice little guitars with a little pitch bend, but if we look over here, all I did is just adjust the pitch into the correct key of G minor. And then I got another guitar hit, but all I did was reverse it, as you can see, just to kind of build up back into that main piano hit. But as for the effects on these two sounds, I got myself an EQ cutting off some highs and ducking all my lows, and then some heavy reverb using Valhalla vintage verb just to add a bit more ambience yet again. And now without further ado, this is what a full sample for Hxncho and Noodah sound like. There we have it, but now it's time to move on to the drums. And looking at the first pattern, we got ourselves a nice little rim shot again from the other kit from the Hxncho guy. Super dope kit he had, I can't lie. But looking at the pattern, pretty simple rim shot pattern. Got the rim shot hitting every third measure. However, if we look at these red notes, these are just nice little accent notes to add a bit more of a bounce. And then looking at the hi-hat pattern, it's very simple and straightforward. A nice little two-step, to be honest with you. And all I did was just dug the velocity on this one. So then I just copied and pasted these two notes, create this very nice little rhythm. And with that being said, this is what the rim shot and the hi-hat sound like. And next up we got ourselves the kick pattern. Looking at it, it's very simple and straightforward again. Nice little repeating pattern. As you can see, occurs every 2 bar. Then I just copy and paste it 3 more times to make that full 8. And then looking at the 808 pattern, simple again. Just following the root notes of G, D, and D sharp with that same pattern that we had for the rack kick. And with all that being said, this is what the 808 and the kick sound like. And now last but not least, to wrap the whole beat up, we got ourselves a very lovely open hat from my kit. Go get it in the link description. And last but not least, we got ourselves a nice little open hat, which is of course from my kit. So link in the description, in my Instagram, go grab it for free. And it's a very simple pattern, just repeats every 4 bar, pretty straightforward. And it's on the 4th measure of every 4 bar, if we can see over here. So with all that being said, this is what a full beat. So with all that being said, this is what a dark and emotional beat for Noodah and Hxncho sound like. But now, to break down the structure of the beat, first thing I want to walk you through is the intro, and that is 2 8 bars long, pretty much starting off with the bass and the normal piano, but then the second 8 bar just has that top line piano in as well, and I introduced those guitar hits and that reverse guitar hit as well, alongside the producer tag before the beat drop. Then, looking at the next pattern, we got ourselves the choruses. These are 2 8 bars long, but to break it down is, if we look at the first one over here, we got ourselves a basic pattern, alongside a guitar hit and the reverse guitar, with all those essential drums playing. But then for the second 8 bar, I introduced that open hat, got that top line playing as well, just for a bit of variation. But looking at the other choruses, I do have that nice little purity key playing, just because I wanted to add some variation throughout the whole beat. But now looking at the verse sections, it's pretty simple again. 2 verses, 3 8 bars each. And looking at it, the first 8 bar is that simple piano playing alongside those guitar hits and the essential drums, but I ain't got no 808s or open hats. And coming to the second 8 bar, all I do is introduce that nice little like purity preset alongside the 808s just to add a bit more movement. And then for the final 8 bar, which is also known as the pre-hook, all I do is play pretty much the whole sample. And as you can see, I strip away all of the drums because I want to build that energy just to lead into the chorus again. And that is literally it, guys. You have made it to the end of the tutorial. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, go grab all them free kits in the description, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.